Happy Friday, everybody. Bright and early here, 8:15, 8:20 in the morning. This is Loud Majority Live. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before we get started, guys, make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button if you're watching on Rumble. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the like button. YouTube, hit that like button. Keep sharing this video out all over the place, wherever it is you may be watching, because I've got an interesting story today about our beloved home of Long Island, and a lot of people who may be watching this from other places may be interested in this as well, because the same sorts of things may be happening in your neck of the woods, particularly if you live on the coast like we do, but even if you don't, even if you live in the Midwest or Florida, down in the Sun Belt. Also, just so you guys know, if anybody's watching from Florida, I will be at Turning Point Action in West Palm Beach. Not this weekend, but next weekend for anybody who's down there who wants to come say hello. Turning Point Action does a phenomenal job, really teaching and assisting the next generation of college Republicans and college conservatives. So that's Turning Point Action. That'll be in West Palm Beach. Get your tickets now. Come down, say hello. It'll be a good time. Meet me and some friends. It's wild. It's going to be an absolutely wild time. But you see the headline, and I want to talk about this because this is something that's very, very odd. It's been happening all over the place on Long Island. There were, over the course of the 4th of July weekend, I think there were 3 different shark attacks. People either being grazed by sharks, which will cut you up, or being straight up bit by sharks. And apparently 50 of them were spotted at one beach in particular. Now, why is this happening? A lot of liberals will come out and they'll make up some nonsense. Oh, it's climate change and everything's getting warmer, so the sharks are coming in a little bit faster. This report is from CBS News New York. Now, obviously, I don't believe it's climate change. Did we have a warm winter? Yeah, we did. We did. It didn't snow very much. Cynthia says she lives in Missouri and has never seen a shark in person. Well, you're lucky, because when you do, you get a very Jaws-like feeling, and it's not great. It's not great. The only time I like seeing my sharks is when they're on a plate. But I've got this story from CBS News. 2 swimmers were apparently attacked by sharks off the shores of Long Island on Tuesday, a day after 2 others reported being attacked while enjoying the water at popular New York beaches. At least one beach delayed opening on the holiday on Thursday after officials said drones spotted some 50 sand sharks that morning near a popular beach park. When the beach reopened, swimmers were advised to stay close to the shore. This morning, prior to lifeguards going on duty and authorizing swimming, we had a complete drone patrol right here in front of Field 3. That's Robert Moses, I believe. They saw approximately 50 different sand sharks, says the park's regional director. The park was closed once more after a possible shark sighting, but officials determined it was a dolphin. Now, people want to talk about why, and look, there are more sharks on Long Island than we've ever seen before. Ever. There are more whales washing up on Long Island shores than ever before. This seems to coincide with the amount of sharks. Obviously, the more whales, the more food, the more sharks. The top of the apex predator of the sea obviously tends to go a little bit closer to where all the food is. But why is this happening? I was talking to a fisherman the other day who was saying that cod out east is not in the places where they usually are. Same thing with large tuna, which are eaten by whales and sharks. But why is this? I would argue, and some of the data would back me up on this one, that it would have to do with the new windmills that we've got outside of the east end of Long Island and along the South Shore. See, these stupid windmills that actually provide us with virtually no energy in the first place and actually do more harm to the environment than they save because they tend to leak oil all the time. AOC doesn't tell you about that one. I would argue, and much of the data would back me up on this one, that much of the sonar that comes from these windmills, these wind turbines, are actually messing with the way the smaller fish communicate and the larger fish. Because of that, the bait fish are coming closer and closer inshore. Because they're coming closer inshore, the whales follow them. The sharks follow them. And because of that, whales tend to be washing up because they're not supposed to be that close to the shoreline. We've seen sharks North Shore, South Shore, doesn't really matter where. East End, they're everywhere. Washing up dead, washing up alive. There's nothing anybody can do about it, but this seems to be happening more and more. We never had sharks ever remotely, well, maybe once or twice, but not at the rate we're having them here on the island now. And this impacts everybody. This impacts New York City, this impacts Queens and Brooklyn, because guess what? The sharks don't know if they're in the 5 boroughs or they're washing up in the East River. The Jersey Shore seeing more shark attacks. And it's because of this nonsense that we continue to see with the green energy movement. All things must bow. We must pray. We must beg to the green energy gods, despite the fact that we don't have to worry about any of the ancillary consequences that happens with green energy. We don't have to worry about any of that. We don't have to worry about any of it. Why? Because it might get slightly hotter in the world 100 years from now. I'll be fair, not 100 years. 70, what are we at, 77 years? 77 and a half years from now, it may be slightly warmer outside. So because of that, we need to leak oil into the oceans. We need to sacrifice our economy. We need to ignore the reality of the world in which we're living in. Like, I don't know, the child slavery going on in Africa in order to mine the cobalt you need to make lithium-ion batteries. Don't worry, AOC doesn't see that. Jerry Nadler doesn't see that. Ed Markey doesn't see that. All we know is that we need to solar panel every single thing, every building, retrofit every building, get rid of all wood-burning stoves, which would be all the coal-fired pizza places in New York City. Shout out to Scott Lebedo for that one. That was pretty funny. We've got to get rid of all of that to appease the climate gods. Because, believe me, these agnostics, these atheists, these people who do not believe in a God, in the way we think of God, oh, they worship something. It's just the climate gods. They worship at the foot of Greta Thunberg and John Kerry and Al Gore. Al Gore, the first green billionaire on planet Earth. The first green billionaire on planet Earth. Al Gore doesn't seem to mind that his private jet leaks more fossil fuels than you and I will in our entire lifetime. No. But you've got to get rid of your gas stove. So that John Kerry, who looks like an Easter Island head, will be able to travel the world and preach his climate nonsense. Back to this article. We did have a season last year where we had 6 swimmers bitten from sharks. So this has turned into a bit of a concern. Suffolk County Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison told WABC Tuesday's incident happened about 60 miles apart, including one off Fire Island, not far from another attack the day before, where a 15-year-old girl reportedly being bit on one of her feet by a shark while surfing. Earlier Monday, another 15-year-old girl was treated for an apparent shark bite to the leg. She didn't see what bit her, the lifeguard said. She didn't see what bit her. The lifeguard didn't know what bit her. A drone operator checked the area we didn't see, so we can't determine what bit her exactly. I think you can figure out whether or not it's a shark bite or a fish. I mean, I think it's a little bit different if you get bit, I don't know, by a crab and a shark. We could be able to figure that out. Tuesday's shark encountered both encountered just before 2 p.m. A 47-year-old man was in chest-deep water off Quogue Village Beach in the Hamptons when he felt an apparent bite to his right knee. Quogue police told authority he did not see a shark. As a precaution, they shut the beach down to assess the risk. Soon after, miles away, a 49-year-old man reportedly had his hand bitten while swimming near Pines Beach in Fire Island. Despite the attacks, holiday revelers remained on the beach. Yeah, you ain't going to take Long Islanders off the beach. I'll tell you that. That's nature. And maybe we're taking over their domain, said a 90-year-old woman. I don't know why they asked her. Her opinion doesn't really matter. Just some random person on the beach. During the summer of 2022, there were 8 shark bites on Long Island shore. So this is obviously happening a bit more often than it was last year, and it's concerning. I mean, look, we all go to the and like I said, this doesn't just impact us out here on Long Island. Beaches in Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, all on the eastern seaboard. Because if they're coming this far up because the water is warm, and this far in because of the bait fish coming closer in, then I'm sure it's happening more down in the Carolinas and Florida and the Georgia coast, the Outer Banks. It's screwing with everybody. And it's important to understand this because, people need to... Look, I know that you don't watch News 12 or any of our local news because they suck. Which is why I'll bring you the news. I'll tell you the exact reason why. This crap is happening. Because, I don't know. Could it be because the water is warmer? Yeah, maybe. Like I said, we didn't have a cold winter. We actually had a very hot winter, which was great. I didn't have to shovel any snow. However, that means that these sorts of things are going to be happening earlier and earlier in the season. Sorry, let me fix that. It is wild. So I did want to get to that. Obviously, we've got to talk about, in a minute, we're going to talk about a CVS worker in New York City that got stabbed in broad daylight. Nothing will happen to his attacker, but Daniel Penny will go to jail for manslaughter. And then we're going to talk about the minimum wage, because here in New York City, we've got a ridiculous minimum wage problem. And by that, I mean we have a minimum wage. Minimum wage is the single worst thing, economically speaking, that can happen to a low-wage worker. However, liberals don't stick around to find out the facts, which is why this problem continues to get worse.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog beds.
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
Guys, go to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. Please support the people who support this show. That's Mike Lindell, the great work he's doing over there at MyPillow, supporting conservatives and shows like this one. So go to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. Pick up your Giza Dream sheets, your MyPillow 2.0, phenomenal pillows with temperature regulating thread. That's a buy one, get one free. Go to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. So a CVS worker was stabbed to death. A CVS worker stabs to death a man who tried to shoplift in New York City. I can't wait to see where this goes. Because let's be honest here. I'm sure this will face the same sort of Daniel Penny type situation. This happened over the course of the night. A CVS worker in New York City stabbed to death a man who was trying to shoplift from the store. The incident happened at a CVS pharmacy located north of Times Square at 1619 Broadway around 12:30 a.m., the CVS worker allegedly stabbed the 50-year-old man in the torso. The man was pronounced dead at the hospital. Scotty Inu, you ready for this? A 46-year-old Brooklyn resident was arrested and charged with murder and criminal possession of a weapon after the stabbing. The CVS spokesperson said they are cooperating with police in there. And so this guy shoplifts, probably gets into a tussle, and the worker is charged with murder. Just another Daniel Penny situation here in the beautiful city of New York, where if you defend yourself, you go to jail. This is the anarchy, the organized chaos that they're looking for. Criminals are going to criminal. But if you, the regular citizen, step out of line in any way, you will be sent to prison. But if you're a repeat offender, no, you'll get out. You'll get out that day. Hell, you'll be home before your soup gets cold. This is the organized decline, the organized destruction of a culture and of a civilization. When you do not punish the bad people and you only punish the good ones, this is what happens. These are the sorts of things that happen. So we will see what comes of that as the weekend, as we roll into the weekend. We will see if this man is let out, if we've got another Jose Alba situation. Although because this is like the 8th time it's happened, I don't believe it will get the sort of attention the other ones got, which is a shame, which is a real shame. So the Uber, DoorDash, and Grubhub are suing New York City because that's not the way those businesses were set up. We're going to get to that in 1 minute. Before we do, guys, if you're watching this on Rumble, do hit that thumbs up button, guys. Hit the thumbs up button at the bottom of the video. If you're new to the page, hit the follow button there so you never miss out on anything we've got going on. We've got some phenomenal stuff happening. Some great stuff happening here on Long Island. Some big events coming up. We're going to be bringing some awesome guests up here to Long Island. Stay tuned for that. I know the show's been a little shoddy recently. We've been working on some studio stuff, some tech stuff. So, sorry about that. 100 people watching on Rumble. Let's go. Hit that thumbs up button if you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. Hit that like button. Tag your friends on Facebook in the comments so that they can see what's going on. Also, look, guys, we are rolling into election season, okay? It's July, August, September, October, November. We're here. We've got all of our local elections coming up. I'm sure the local officials will pop in every now and again if they're allowed to. Probably not. But we will see. We will see what happens there. So, Uber, DoorDash, and Grubhub are suing New York City over their $18 minimum wage law. See, these jobs were never supposed to be full-time jobs. They were supposed to be extra money on the side for people. But then what happened? The government shut down all the jobs. So people were forced to take gig jobs like Uber, Grubhub, and DoorDash to supplement the income they were no longer getting from the restaurant that laid them off because nobody was going outside because everybody had the sniffles. Uber, DoorDash, and Grubhub are suing for an injunction to stop New York City's $18 minimum wage law for food delivery app workers, the Washington Post reported. The app delivery platforms are asking for a temporary restraining order against the new rules set to be implemented on June 12th. We will not stand by and let the harmful impacts of these earnings standards on New York City customers, merchants, and delivery workers it was intended to support go unchecked, The Workers' Justice Project that backed the survey decried the lawsuit. This is the latest legal maneuver to prop up their business model. Comes at the expense of workers who can barely survive in a city facing massive affordability crisis. Well, I want to be clear. It is not the fault of Uber, DoorDash, or Grubhub that we have an affordability crisis in New York City. The fault lies with the people who control the zoning laws, so we can't build new houses. Look, commercial real estate has taken a dump, and it's going to keep taking a dump. Imagine if the zoning laws were a little bit more laxed, and we could turn some of that commercial real estate into residential properties. Then it would lower the cost of housing all throughout New York City and the 5 boroughs. The problem is, you're not allowed to do that. New York has become the first city to mandate a minimum wage for food delivery workers, ordering platforms to pay their workers $17.96 per hour plus tips. God, $17.96 per hour plus tips by July 12th. The minimum wage in the city is $15 an hour, but the extra amount accounts for the fact that delivery workers are usually paid as contractors, have higher taxes and must pay work-related expenses out of pocket. According to an estimate from the New York City Department of Consumer and Worker Protection, NYC has more than 60,000 food delivery workers who earn an average of $7.09 per hour. Yeah, because it wasn't meant to be a regular job. If you don't want it, don't do it. The problem with minimum wage laws is that they only seem to impact the only people they're going to hurt are the consumer, because where do you think that money is going to get added onto? It's going to get added onto your delivery charges so that they can supplement the income of these people. 60,000 people delivering food? Maybe we ought to stop ordering so much food. Or just walk and get it yourself. That's something to think about. And look, I do it too. Don't get me wrong. But this is all going to end up going on you. And the more expensive it gets, it's already absurdly expensive to use any of these apps. And the more expensive it gets, the less people are going to use them. And the less people use them, the less money these people will make. And that is what happens with minimum wage laws. Thomas Sowell has a very famous saying that the minimum wage is actually zero. Because if you're priced out of a job, you don't have an income. If there's a job out there that paid $5 an hour, you wouldn't take it. And because you wouldn't take it, it would force that business to raise the wage. The problem is that now low-skilled workers are being pushed out of industries. Don't believe me? Next time you go into a supermarket, see how many self-checkout lines there are. All those self-checkout lines used to be jobs. But ridiculous unions forced people to pay $18 an hour in a minimum wage, forced them to pay for health care. So what did the company do? They figured out a way around it. They said, you know what? We'll just have computers do it. Computers don't take breaks. They don't get tired. They don't go on vacation. They don't need health care. They don't strike. And that is how technology and that is how AI will eventually take us all out. Because you watch, soon there will be no cashiers in any place. It'll all be self-checkout. Now they're doing it at fast food restaurants. If you go into a McDonald's, they got those little computers there where you punch in your own order. And they've convinced the workers to show you how to use the computers. If you go into a Stop and Shop right now, there'll be one person working at 4 self-checkout lines. That used to be 3 jobs. Our problem is that we got greedy. I'm sorry, you're not going to have a career being a cashier. But now every job is expected by stupid liberals to make $100,000 a year with Blue Cross Blue Shield benefits. That's not what those jobs are made for. Everyone should have a living wage. Well, everyone has a living wage, or they would be dead. I mean, try to stick with the words that we, as a society, have all agreed upon. Try to stick with the words that we have all agreed upon, people. Let's see. However, DoorDash and Grubhub argue that the earnings estimate were based on flawed methodology. Workers surveyed were told upfront that the aim was to raise the pay of the delivery workers and suggested correct answers, according to the lawsuit. Grubhub also expressed concern about the increased difficulty in monitoring workers, Uber said. In a separate lawsuit, the higher minimum wage would inflate food prices. There we go. And in turn, hurting local restaurants. Absolutely. Absolutely. App services like Uber have fought for years against regulation against gig workers. Earlier this year, a court ruled that Uber and Lyft could keep treating drivers as contractors rather than reclassifying them as salaried employees. Yeah. Because if you reclassify them as salary employees, you have to pay for their health care. And they don't want to do that. Of course they don't want to do that. Why would they? Why would they want to do that? I don't blame them. These were all supposed to be extra jobs. You weren't supposed to be a full-time Uber driver. Oh, you looking to make a little bit of extra money? Here's Uber. Here's Grubhub. That's the way that works. Not anymore. Not anymore. Now people do it full-time, which if that's what you want to do, that's fine, but you know it when you sign up for it. You know that when you sign up for it. So forgive me if it's not top of mind for things that need to be changed with all the problems we are already facing. Like the fact that we can't figure out whose cocaine was left in the White House. Whose cocaine was it? We'll never know, according to some reports. It could be very hard to figure out whose cocaine that is, according to the Secret Service reports. Really? That's funny, because you found the Ukraine leaker in about 10 minutes. You found all the people from that day we don't talk about in about 5 minutes. But you can't run fingerprints on a bag of blow you found in the White House? No, here's why they're doing it. And the people on Fox News couldn't be more wrong about this. First off, the cocaine was found in a cubbyhole next to the Situation Room, which is a highly trafficked area by people with security clearance. By people with clearance to roam around the building, which staffers do not have, which journalists do not have, number one. Number two, but more importantly, number three, if it was just some intern, they'd say it. Yes, it was an intern, they were fired, and that's that. And we'd all move on. But it isn't. They can't say whose cocaine it was because perhaps it might, I don't know, violate somebody's probation. I'm not saying whose. It might violate somebody's probation and force them to go back to jail. I'm not saying who. I'm just saying. It might have to do with that. It might have to do with the fact that if fingerprints were found on a bag of cocaine belonging to, I don't know, who in the White House is on probation? Hunter Biden, let's just say. Then he'd violate his probation and he'd go back to doing a 10-year prison sentence, which probably wouldn't be too good for the administration. So, naturally, the Secret Service can't find who it is. Can't find who it is. Whoops. Can't figure it out. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But we'll have more on that at 1 o'clock over on LFA TV. Guys, we're going to be signing off here right now. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. I know I've been missing the shows Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They'll be coming back every Monday, Wednesday, Friday right here. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're watching on Rumble, hit that thumbs up button. If you are watching on Facebook, hit the like button. Hit the follow button right underneath the video so you never miss out on anything that we've got going on. We've got big stuff happening here on Long Island, and you're not going to want to miss it. I'm going to be bringing some friends up to Long Island. some friends very, very soon, and you guys are going to want to meet all of them. But until then, everybody, until 1 p.m., make sure you guys are following over at rumble.com/LFA TV. Guys, I will see you then, 1 o'clock, LFA. Until then, everybody, stay loud.